Hello and welcome here to Talking FCB and welcome back to the channel here for another video here today. And basically guys, once again I'm going to do a video responding to a lot of the questions that I received in yesterday's video when we talked about Coutinho. A lot of people were saying, hang on a minute, can you please do a video about the Lionel Messi situation? Now, the first thing to clear up about this is an absolute mess. This is something that once again has been created, I feel, on social media. There is no situation with Lionel Messi as I can see, because, you know, basically the problem is on social media, particularly Twitter, because of the character limit, right? You see a story, you see a headline, and automatically then you go and possibly recreate that. You go and tell one of your friends, or you go and tweet somebody else about it, and then that story takes pace. And it's a bit like the old game Chinese whispers, isn't it? You know, you say the one thing, and by the time that it's got back to the original person, when it's gone around all these different people, the story's completely changed. Now, the problem was the thing that people seem to be missing out, the big thing about this story, the one that said Messi rejects Barcelona's contract offer, Messi is considering leaving the club. The story was posted by Marca, and that is the bottom line here. We are dealing with a Madrid media, the most powerful paper in Madrid in terms of pro-Real Madrid. They are everything Real Madrid. You've seen their awards. The La Liga awards are the most biased awards you'll ever see in your life. They consistently do this sort of thing, particularly before big games. It's absolutely no coincidence that Clásico is just a few weeks away. What better to do in the lead up to that than post a story about the rival's best player? They're trying to unsettle Messi. They did exactly the same sort of thing when they were posting stories constantly when his tax case was ongoing. It's all to try and unsettle the opposition. It's all to try and get inside our heads. And the most important thing, guys, is to rise above it. We do not need to get involved with this. We don't need to write about it. We don't need to comment on it. The problem is you don't want to give Marca, you don't want to give these lies exposure. You don't want to post it around. You don't want to regurgitate that information, because what they said and what they posted was simply farcical. It was made up. It was fiction. It was somebody who sat there behind a desk. Literally, they've had no facts presented to them at all, and they've written the story based on fictional information. So all I would say about Lionel Messi is the fact that there is, for me, no situation at all. There is no worries in my mind that Lionel Messi won't sign a new deal. I think, like I said, I think the story was made up, and it's very, very interesting as well that Sports and MD have both been on the case of Marca. Of course, Sport and MD, both papers based in Barcelona, and are, you know, most notably pro-Barça. And they've actually been talking this morning in their papers saying that basically it's no coincidence also that Barcelona refused to turn up for Marca's awards in La Liga. The LFP awards in La Liga were made by Marca. They're sponsored by Marca. And if you saw some of those awards that were given out, the fact that some players were left out altogether, there was very, very strange awards going to Real Madrid players, as we see year in, year out. So rightly so, Barca finally decided, you know what, we're not even going to go to the ceremony. Marca, of course, didn't like that, and now they post this story on Lionel Messi, like I say, coming not too long before the Clásico as well. He's away on international break, so it's all gone quiet. It's basically like they're sitting there in their headquarters and they're saying, right, the Clásico's coming, they didn't turn up to the awards, it's the international break, there's not much going on, we've not got an awful lot to write about. Why don't we invent a story on Messi's contract renewal? Great idea, guys. And the problem is then that people bite down on it. They take in that story as gospel when really there was no facts behind it, there was no source behind it, and it really had no substance whatsoever. So this story is a no-goer. Sport have said that Messi fully intends to renew his contract. There was another report in Spain yesterday as well, which said that basically Messi wasn't actually progressing with talks in his contract at the moment, simply because the club are currently in the process of renewing Luis Suarez's contract and Ivan Rakitic's contract, and Messi believed that those guys should come first. Those contracts are up sooner than his is, so he's letting them get on with it. He's letting the club focus on those contracts first, and then they'll come on to his later on. He's not trying to press the issue. He's not trying to demand the club that they give him the contract now and they sign it and they seal it. He's not putting any pressure at all on the club, and likewise the club on Messi. Messi's contract doesn't run out anyway until the summer of 2018, so it's not like he's in the last year. It's not like he's in the last, few months of his deal where things are getting a bit worrying. There's a lot of time to run on his contract. He's extremely well paid. And then there's the people who sort of say that, why is there sort of this thing when it comes to contracts? Players are on so much money. Why are they demanding more? Why are they trying to get as much as they possibly can out of their contracts? I'm actually one that is almost like, I do agree, of course, that footballers get paid an awful lot of money, but it's the fact that Lionel Messi is the very, very best player in the world, one of the best players, if not the best player, let's face it, that we've ever seen before. So why shouldn't he try and get the very, very best contract? Of course he loves Barca, but at the end of the day, your playing career doesn't go on forever. This is his job right now. He's trying to get the best deal for himself, so will his advisors, and I think that's fair enough. He's the best player in the world. He's ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo, so why shouldn't Messi try and get the best deal for him? I think that's fair enough. It's also no coincidence that right now Ronaldo has just renewed his contract with Real Madrid, so probably he's got a wage increase, and it's probably likely that Messi will want something a little bit more for himself. That's fine. Also, Suarez, like I say, is on the brink of renewing his contract with Barca, and of course in the summer we had Neymar as well, who just renewed his contract at Barca, and again he was given a wage increase himself. So no doubt in the coming months we'll hear more about this contract situation. The club are working on it. They'll be in discussions with Lionel Messi. But of course, for me, Messi is a Barcelona player. The only time that I can ever see him actually leaving the club and going to join another club is when he does return to Argentina, if he does decide to go back to Newell's Old Boys, which he has talked about in the past. But apart from that, I don't see him leaving the club at all. I think the next contract will probably be one of the biggest ones of Lionel Messi's career, simply because I think that next contract from 2018 onwards will be one of his last biggest and longest contracts at Barcelona. After that one is signed, he's going to be in his 30s. I'm not going to say he's going to be winding down his career, anything but that. We've seen the kind of play that he can adapt to. He can drop deeper. He doesn't have to rely on pace. He's a player that can go on with the mind that he has, the footballing brain. He can go on well into his 30s, of course. What I'm saying is these are his peak years in terms of that explosive energy, that pace, that power. That's Lionel Messi right now in the peak of his career. As they say, 28, 29 is when you should be hitting your very, very best form. That can certainly be the case the way Messi is playing at the moment, and his next contract will be a very, very big one indeed. But in terms of whether he'll sign it or not, there really for me isn't any debate. Lionel Messi is a Barcelona player. Barcelona are very, very relaxed about the whole situation. Messi himself is enjoying his football. He's away on international duty at the moment with Argentina. He's getting ready to return. After that, we've got some very, very big games coming up in the period before Christmas. Like I say, big game round the corner. At the start of December, El Clasico is coming. That's going to be a huge game. And don't be too surprised, guys, either to see more and more of these stories coming out in the next few weeks. Not only about Messi, but I expect a number of our players to be targeted by Marca, by AS. A lot of people are going to be trying to unsettle us heading into the Clasico. It's what happens. It's part and parcel of the game. I'm sure Sport and MD are working on some things to throw back at them. But like I say, the story that was made up by Marca, it's very, very important to note there was no source behind it. There was no factual information provided in that report. So all of those people who are getting a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous, so of course, never do we want to see any speculation about Messi leaving the club. That's the last thing that any Barca fan would want. But what I would say is be nice and calm. We know Messi. We know who he is. We know that he's stayed loyal to us year on year on year. There's not a club around the world who wouldn't want to sign this magical player. But the very fact is the fact that he's happy at Barca, his family is settled, he's getting a good wage. We will increase his wages when he gets his next contract. We'll do that all. It'll all get settled. It might take a little bit of time, but in the end, we will settle it and it'll all be fine. So, guys, don't worry. Don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to work out okay. We've got bigger concerns at the moment. Like I say, we've got some very, very big games coming up. All the focus is going to be on those games, making sure that we take our points and that we stay as consistent as we possibly can. Thanks again, guys, though, for the request on the video. Thanks for your ideas. I always appreciate those. It always gives me an idea of what to do a video on. Really pleased to be back on the channel. Really, really pleased with all the comments, the feedback, the thoughts. Really always appreciate to see those and to try and comment and get back to as many plenty of you that I can do. If I don't always reply to your comment, I do apologise. I do try and reply to as many as possible when I get a minute, so I do appreciate those nonetheless. I'll be very, very interested to hear your thoughts on this video, guys. Obviously, I'm sure you should all be very, very confident that Messi will sign his new contract, but for those who are worrying, it's going to be fine. Trust me on that. So I'll see you very, very soon, guys. If you've got any other videos at all that you think I could do, any ideas, please do let me know about those. Also, I'll be back very, very soon with another video, I'm sure. I'll see you then. But as always, until next time, Vesca! El Barça!